When you swear you're over someone, but your finger still hovers over their name at 1 a.m., you moved on. But your screen says otherwise. If that's you, this video's not to judge you. It's here to quietly call you out and help you out. Because healing doesn't look like perfection. It looks like honesty. And right now, you need to be honest with yourself about why you keep checking. Because sometimes moving on isn't about cutting someone out. It's about understanding why they still live in your head in the first place. Let's start with what that behavior actually means. When you stalk someone's profile, watch their stories, scroll through their new posts, zoom in on who they're following, it isn't just curiosity. It's pain disguised as habit. It's the mind's way of clinging to something that felt good once, even if it ended badly. And the real danger? Every scroll feels like you're doing nothing wrong. But behind the scenes, you're reopening wounds your heart was trying to close. You don't need to block them today. You don't need to delete every memory. But you do need to ask, what am I looking for when I check their page? Is it proof they've moved on? Is it hope that they haven't? Until you answer that, you'll stay trapped in a loop. And in that loop, your healing slows down. Not because you're broken, but because you're stuck chasing a feeling instead of facing the truth. That chapter is done. It's okay to look back, but not if you plan on living there. You ever refresh their profile more than your own? That's not just a habit. That's emotional surveillance, and it's exhausting. You replay old messages in your head. Their posts hit different now. You screenshot things to send your friends. You even zoom in on their background to see who's in the room. Let's be honest, you're still in it. Missing what never got closure is the worst kind of ache. And when someone exits your life without a proper ending, your brain creates its own. Scrolling becomes a coping mechanism. You're not just checking their vibe. You're watching for signs. Signs they miss you. Signs they regret it. Signs they're hurting too. And when you don't see it, you spiral. Or worse, you take it personally. But their silence isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's just distance. And distance can be healthy, even when it feels cold. Start setting quiet boundaries with yourself. No, not a full-on social media detox. Just limits. No late-night stalking. No checking right after posting something. Catch yourself in the act and ask, what's my goal here? You'll be surprised how often the answer is just self-sabotage disguised as hope. You can't move forward when you're tracking someone who's not even looking back. And then there's the post-game stalking. You're not just checking them. You're checking who they're liking, who they're commenting on, who keeps showing up in their tagged section. Let's call it what it is: torture, emotional masochism. You know it hurts, but you do it anyway. Why? Because it's easier to feel something than nothing. But here's the thing. Attention isn't closure. You don't need to win the breakup. You just need to stop making it your full-time job to monitor someone who's not even clocked in. You ever post something just in case they see it? Not because you want to, but because you hope they'll feel something? That's not moving on. That's performance heartbreak. Every story becomes a message in a bottle. You show off a new outfit not because you feel good, but because you want them to regret losing you. You post a quote hoping they'll read between the lines. You tag a location they might recognize, hoping they notice. And when they don't respond, you feel invisible. Rejected again. Except this time, it's not them doing the damage, it's you. Because you set yourself up for a reaction they never promised to give. That's a dangerous cycle. It's loving someone through the lens of how you hope they feel instead of how they actually behave. Here's a better way to handle that feeling. Create for you, not for them. Post because you feel good. Because you want to, because it reflects who you are right now, not who you're trying to get a reaction from. Because even if they see it, even if they do miss you, do you really want their attention if it only comes from guilt? And let's talk about the little hits of dopamine you get when you see they've viewed your story. That small rush, that maybe they still care feeling. That's the most addictive part. But here's the truth. Viewing isn't caring. Clicking isn't reaching out. Passive attention isn't love, it's just proximity. Don't mistake a ghost hovering around your feed for someone who wants to stay in your life. If they did, they'd be in your messages, not just in your views. You ever find yourself making excuses to bring them up in conversation, like someone casually says something and somehow Somehow it reminds you of a memory with them. And now they're back in the room again. Not physically, but emotionally. Still haunting your thoughts like they have rent-free access to your peace. This is what happens when a breakup leaves loose threads. You fill every silence with their memory. You twist songs, locations, even memes back to them. And the scariest part? You don't realize how often you do it. But your friends notice, your body notices, your heart. It's stuck in a rerun while life is trying to broadcast something new. You don't have to forget them. You just have to stop handing them the microphone in moments that should belong to you. When a thought of them creeps in, don't push it down, but also don't feed it. Say, yep, that happened. That's a part of my story. And then return to now. The more you practice presence, the less power your past holds. And then there's the other thing we don't talk about enough, comparing. You look at who they're with now, what they're doing now, how happy they seem without you. It stings. It feels like watching someone move on while you're still stuck in traffic. But here's what you're forgetting. They're curating a highlight reel. They're showing you what they want you to see. Even if they are happy, that doesn't erase what you two had. It just means they're in a different place now, and maybe you should be too. Not because you're in a race, but because comparison will always rob you of progress. Every second you spend sizing up their life is 1 second stolen from building your own. You're not behind. You're just busy watching someone else's path. Look up. Yours is waiting. Sometimes the last stage of not being over someone is pretending you are. Smiling extra hard, flirting with people you don't care about, laughing at stuff that doesn't feel funny, just so no one suspects you're hurting. And deep down, you know it's a performance. You're not healed. You're just hiding. You said you moved on, but when your friends leave and the room goes quiet, the truth rushes in. You still think about what could have been. You still wonder if they ever scroll through your page the way you do theirs. That hope, that tiny flicker that maybe one day they'll reach out, apologize, come back, that's what's keeping you in limbo. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Moving on doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you stop waiting. It means you stop building your future around someone who stopped showing up. It means you give yourself permission to outgrow the version of you that needed their validation to feel whole. You don't need them to say sorry. You don't need one last talk. You don't need them to come back and make it make sense. What you need is to choose you over and over until it sticks. Stop stalking the past, hoping it'll change. Stop rereading old messages like they'll rewrite themselves. Start doing the brave thing, letting go of someone who already let go of you. That's when real healing begins. Not when you block them, not when you delete everything, but when you finally stop checking their profile. Because you stop needing what's not yours anymore. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but because you realized peace is better than proof. And that peace, it's been waiting on you. All you had to do was stop scrolling and start living.